Hey everyone, welcome to the Tokyo Motor Show and welcome to the brand new BMW iX2. I have here with me Stefan Floeck. There is nobody better than you to tell me about the car. You're the vice president for the lineup, the Compact Class, which includes X1, X2 Mini as well. But we're going to focus today on this brand new car. So BMW X2. Tell me first, how did this project come to mind? Why did you want to build an electric version of the new X2 basically?
You know, the Compact Class is very important to the BMW Group because it's the door opener for new customers and it's a door opener for young customers to the BMW Group. And this is why it's very important to electrify the iX2. The predecessor wasn't fully electrified, so with the iX2 and the second generation of the X2, we did the full electrification. And that's very important in the Compact Class to broaden the BEVs.
Okay. Now, if you look at the entire product lineup for the X2, I mean, it has changed quite a bit, the design. But when you started the project, and I talked to Stefan, one of your guys, also product manager, how did you start the project? What was in mind when you wanted to completely change the X2? Because the previous X2, the F39, it's more of a hatchback, more than a crossover, where this one, it's really a coupe-ish crossover, very close to an X4, honestly. So what did you have in mind? Has the customer base has changed? Have you got feedback from customers that they wanted something bigger? So you tell me what it was, really.
Yeah, so I think these are 3 points which you definitely changed. So one thing is we didn't have the BEV in the X2, so that was the first feedback from the customer, so that's why we made it a BEV. The second thing is we wanted to have the X2 a clear own character. With a sporty, progressive, let's say extroverted design, because the customers are different. The customer, they want to represent something, they want to be sporty, they want to be extroverted. So this is why we completely repositioned the design, and we wanted to put it just on top of the X1, which the predecessor
it was not
wasn't
really
much enough.
correct.
This one now, it has its own character. It's a clear SAC, and it's clear positioned above the X1.
Okay, so now let me ask you this. So we still have the X4 today for a while. Would you feel like there will be an overlap a little bit in between the two products? Why would somebody pick the X2?
Might be. We don't know yet. It's important, the own character, and it's important like the X4 is an own character compared to the X3, and the X6 is an own character compared to the X5. On this level in the Compact Class to do the same thing. So
maybe we'll move
let's
this
see
from the
if
side
there will
too.
be an overlap, but we don't think so.
Now, you have quite a few products on the X2, so you're gonna have the X2 base version, then you're gonna have the X2 M35i, and of course the iX2. Which one would you think will lead the sales over time? Would it be the M35i, being the more performance version, or you think people will gravitate more towards electromobility, basically?
We clearly foresee that the BEV will make the most of the volume.
Gotcha. And that's something probably based on the X1 and the iX1, because I know the iX1 it's a very good selling product today in Europe especially.
Over lifetime, we foresee that the BEV and the main market for the BEV is Europe, and then Asia, like Japan here. These are the main markets, and we foresee that the volume of the total volume of the X2, the iX2 will be the biggest part. That's what we think and hope.
People have a lot of questions about the rear end, and we've talked about the taillights. Quite unique and something that you don't see today in the lineup. Was this really based on what you said before, having its own identity, or there was a functional reason?
You got it. We wanted to have its own identity. So we have the double wings, the double seats in the front,
take a look here,
and we have the same thing in the back. So we have...
so more like a symmetry, kind of synergy between the front and the rear.
And so the signature in the front and the rear is pretty similar. And the second thing, it's unique. We don't have this right now in the BMW Group, and that's why we chose to make this really a character, an icon, unique. We chose to do it this way, and that I think it looks, from the design side and from the technical side, it looks pretty good. Yeah,
I mean, it looks unique. I mean, it's quirky a little bit. I mean, that was the X2 before, a little bit quirky and a little bit different. So, all right, so we don't have the MPA car here, the M35i, but one feedback that we constantly see is, why are the quad pipes on a non-full M car? What is a quad pipe on an M Light? What's the reason behind that?
Yeah, I would say there's a clear reason. So the high performance and the performance, the width between the two, they was too broad. So that we wanted to get this closer together, to have a clearer focus for our performance cars. So this is why we decided to put the 4 pipes on the MPV as well. And when we drive in next spring, the 2 cars against each other, you will see that the 2 pipes fit to the performance of the car.
A lot of people have been asking me, since I've talked about this car and I filmed it before, why is the iX2 not coming to the US? And because I feel like, from my personal experience, there is a gap in the product lineup, really, because you don't have an entry-level crossover and you have the iX, which is a good car, but it's a lot more expensive. Any particular reason why this car is not coming to the US?
I would say the American market, they focus more on the bigger SUVs and SACs. This is why we have the bigger cars over there as a bit. But that's a reason why we do not go to the American market, because we think they look on bigger cars in that way. And in the segment, we still have the Mini there in the cars. So this is why we chose, we not go to the US market with that.
We have to talk about the interior design a little bit because we're quite tall. We just mentioned 195 and 190. Was that a feedback from your customers that they said, hey, maybe we need more space in the X2, we want it to be more practical? Is that one of the reasons why, let's make it a little bit bigger too?
We wanted to have the best of the 2 worlds, let's say it this way. On the one side, to make it 20 centimeters longer than the predecessors.
It's quite long,
And make it 5 millimeters wider than the predecessor, to get this coupe look and this clear, present, progressive coupe look. And on the other side, we wanted to have a sporty car, but not compromise on the room inside. And this is why you even have more room in this one as in the X1. So that was the reason to get the best out of 2.
Gotcha.
So sportiness with no compromise. That's what an SAC is out of my point of view.
Understood. It's also fair to state or assume that improving the interior quality was a goal of yours. When you go inside this car in the X1, it's completely different. It's like a few levels up.
I love that you state that, because
that's what I noticed personally.
That was a clear finding. Even during the design phase, when we do the product clinics, we saw, hey, we need to have the premium feel, the premium look and feel inside.
And it's clearly, I can open the door and we can see it briefly.
You see, we have the two color, which is unique for the iX2, which is a little bit more sporty with the white and gray. And then we took the stitching here. We put it a little bit more ahead, so that we can have a different material there, and you see the material and the signature in the material. This is unique to the X2 as well. And even if you go to the MPV, when you have the Alcantara inside, we pull up the Alcantara here, and I think this is really
this is more premium. Clearly, definitely. Now, it's not fair to ask you about your favorite child, but I'm going to ask you to pick your favorite child between 2 things. If you were to pick your company car between the iX2 and the X2 M35i, which one would it be? Electric versus 4 pipes, 312 horsepower in the M35i. Not an easy choice.
Not an easy choice, because the 2 of them are pretty good. So the electric one, I love the power you have. For the acceleration, the instant power you have. And I love, in many cases, I love the silence. Because you don't have enough time where you are that confident in your own zone and where you have the silence. I even don't hear music in those cars because it's so nice and silent. And on the other side, I like the top speed, and I like the
especially
engine
the
sound
Autobahn,
and the Autobahn, and I like the sound. So.
And let me tell you this, the X2 M35 or the X1 M35 even sounds even better in the US, because we don't get the OPF on the thing, and it sounds really nice in that version.
Nice Schubproben.
Exactly. Okay, so that's one. Now, second question on your favorite child. You're responsible for the X1, X2, and the Mini Countryman, which is all new, all electric. I filmed the car. It looks actually more of a SUV as well than ever before. I actually gave the feedback to Oliver Harman that I said it actually looks very British, very Range Rover, which is a good thing. It's not a bad thing. Tell me, what do you expect from this new compact lineup? It's all new right now, brand new products. What are your expectations, and where do you think you'll see the most growth, in the X1, in the X2, or in the Mini Countryman?
Clearly in the X1.
Okay.
So this is the big volume model. But why did we increase the size of the Countryman, as you just said? Because we wanted to make the 5-door
Okay.
an own character. And this is why we pushed the Countryman a little bit more in the size, so that for the 5-door, for the Aceman, which is coming next year,
X-Man,
we have
yeah.
a clear own space for the Aceman in terms of the geometry, so that you can really get your own character there. So the clear volume model will be the X1, and right followed by the Countryman.
Okay.
And I think this is still a niche, but it's pretty good in the niche for the people who really want to have a sporty, present, extroverted car.
Yeah. And last question, I mean, clearly you mentioned niche, and I would say, or in my opinion, I'm assuming you're projecting more sales on this generation X2 than the previous one, just because of the fact that it's larger and more crossover, right? So
Yeah, in the F39 we were pretty successful as well. We had, I think we sold 380,000
okay.
over the lifetime in the first generation. So since we really want to address additional customers and we want to get the BEV people into the car,
Yeah.
our goal is to clearly increase the volume.
Okay, perfect. And really the final question, what would be the best color to pick on this car? So I've seen the fire red, I've seen the frozen Portimao, which is great, and I've seen the frozen gray on the X1. Which one do you think looks best on the iX2?
I would say the frozen
Portimao.
Portimao blue.
Yeah. It shows the lines a lot nicer than on this one because it emphasizes the width of the car and all of that.
And
so
it's specific only for the X2.
for the X2,
Yeah,
really? So it's
these
not
two
offered.
colors are only for the X2.
Okay.
It's not in the X1.
Not on the X1. I thought that's going to be on the X1 because I know this is new, but I didn't realize. Okay, so interesting. So that's your. If you want to buy the X2, you get those exclusive colors,
Yeah,
basically.
exactly. You
Okay.
get exclusive colors, you get exclusive rims. We don't have the rims at the X1.
Okay, so they're
So
different.
you get some exclusive things. So the differentiation is also in the detail.
Yeah. And then I did say the final question, but now something came into my mind and I have to ask. Electromobility, it's also not about performance and that, but it's also about charging capabilities, range, and all of that. Have you got any feedback from customers saying, hey, you know, the range in the iX1 and now the iX2 could be better? Do you feel like range anxiety, it's an issue for these type of products?
I would say right now it's not an issue. We are pretty confident with the range of up to 450 kilometers.
WLTP,
So
yeah.
that's pretty good. And with the 2.I, it's even increasing up to almost 500 kilometers. That's our long range front-wheel drive BEV in the X1 and in the X2. So we are pretty confident with this. Let's see how long this will last. But out of our point of view, right now we are top to the market, even with this range.
Gotcha. Well, Stefan, thank you so much. I guess my next step for me next spring, early year, we're gonna drive this one against the Mini Countryman kind of thing. So it'd be interesting to see how they compare also, you know, back to back, because it's always interesting to see two similar products, how they behave, you know. So that's the next step. Thank you so much. Appreciate it for your time, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, cool. Thank you.
Guys, thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next one.